we are officially underway in our journey to explore Danish professional work. I will talk first about our topic for today. As we all know, adapting to a new working culture can be both exciting and challenging. So today's seminar is designed to be a bridge the gap between Indonesian and Danish working culture. So it will offer you a pathway to navigate and to thrive better in Danish working landscape. There will be three main ideas presented today. The first one is about the overview of the industry in Denmark. Of course, we know there are a lot of different sectors and different industry in Denmark. May I know for you guys who are joining us here, are there any industry or sectors that you guys are aiming for? Energy, nice. Another? Shipping. Oh, okay. We have a lot of interesting industry that you guys want to aim to. So later, our speakers will talk more about this industry and opportunity that you guys can grab after you graduate. Just like Duga said, you study first after you graduate, okay? And then second one is quality gap between Denmark and Indonesia. We are coming from a different country and a different continent. We are like very far away. We're coming from Indonesia. We offer a different kind of skill set. So of course we want to know, is my skill valuable in Denmark? Is my working culture can suit Denmark's working culture? We all want to know the answer for that. So our speakers later will also share how can we adapt ourselves? How can we adapt our working culture to match what Denmark needs? And about our skill, how can we make our skill useful and valuable to enter the Danish? Lastly, we will talk about the most important part, mindset. After knowing the industry, after knowing the difference between Indonesian and Denmark, what kind of mindset should we have so that we can navigate better, so that we can work better and be a better person present Indonesia in a foreign country. A kindly reminder again, your participation is very much encouraged. If you have questions, please submit it in this slide here, or in your left side, or in the middle section of the screen. Okay, I'm sure you guys are very excited, so I will introduce you our first speaker. We are very privileged of hosting a distinguished professor from Copenhagen Business School, Martin Jes Iversen. He is an associate professor in the Department of Strategy and Innovation, and his primary research area is strategy and innovation with an empirical focus on contemporary Danish shipping. I heard you guys say about something about shipping, so I think Martin will be a very perfect speaker for you. Okay, so without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage Martin Jes Iversen.
So pleased when I received the invitation because today we are combining two of my main interests, or not only interests, but things that I really care about. One is students and getting organized with students. I think it's so great. Congratulations of organizing the Indonesian students in Denmark. That is the way to go. Very important to organize yourself. I know there's so much you can do, but there's a limit to it. But if we go together and reach common aims and join forces, then we get far away. And I actually think that first step is the first step into the Danish labor force. There's a long tradition for unions. You gather 3 days and they create a union. That's it for that. And that is that we join forces, that we reach aims. Indonesian students in Denmark. The other measure that I use to consider mention that, and that is my keen interest, and I'm previously been working with Indonesia, and then I've set a great pride in being doing my best to bridge Denmark and Indonesia the last couple of years, various initiatives, including partnerships and incentives abroad. But I also regard this as only start of a journey. I think we should go much further than we have done so far, and there's still so many opportunities for collaboration. I would actually like to start my presentation with showing a small video on YouTube. I don't know if it's possible with the sound and other things, but should we give it a try? I hope you noticed the last thing that was said. The last thing that was said in the video is very important in my understanding of Denmark. That is that Denmark is a very odd combination of a highly welfare state with a very strong state on the one hand, but also a country marked by strong liberal traditions on the other. In the book we wrote about Danish capitalism, we called it a liberal variation of democracy, a liberal variation of democracy, but at the same time also a liberal variation of a welfare state. So the combination was something that is actually a contrast, is that what Bo Lidegaard here talks about, that you have a highly regulating state in one respect, in the sense that we pay a lot to the state in our tax, and we get free education in Denmark, and we have all these free options also for healthcare and other things, very strong sense towards the welfare. But on the other hand, people's personal life and the long tradition of how we regard ourselves, we also have a very strong tradition for liberal freedom. So that combination is very strange, and it's also difficult to navigate when you come to the country. Because how is it on the one hand that you have such a strong state and such a strong sense of being together? Danish people tend to be, you know, they know each other for a long time, and they're little close, they're not so open maybe sometimes. They're not so much inviting you home for dinners and other things that you would look for. But on the other hand, they also have this very strong openness and also expecting in society that the liberal, or that the individual should have great opportunities. But these opportunities, and I think that's the point, are created on top of the welfare. That's an important one. My most important message to you today is that you are at the right place at the right time as who you are. You are at the right place at the right time as who you are. I don't think Denmark would have been so interesting for you 20 or 30 years ago. And I will try to explain to you why. If we take a look at, maybe you can go one back on this one, one more. If we can do it, or the other way. This one. This is Copenhagen, and this is reflecting, in my mind, the old Denmark. And what do I mean by that? I mean, you have a business structure, a little bit like the skyline of Copenhagen. Many small and medium-sized enterprises, with a lot of handcrafts shops, a lot of very agricultural-based society. There's a lot of small businesses, of course. Most Danish people work for small business, make no mistake. So if you go to Jutland or to western part of the country, people are often working still at the craftsman shops and small businesses. But there is an important difference between the old Denmark and the new Denmark. And it's not a very old Denmark I talk about, it's only 20 years ago. The difference is that now you have real skyscrapers. Now you have real large corporations in Denmark, and that's a new phenomenon. That is why Denmark is now an interesting country for you to come to. Because now there are really large corporations with a global outreach in this country. And that is new to us as Danes, but it's also new, let's say, for the whole society. Also, all the people coming from all around the world to Copenhagen and to the rest of Denmark now. It's a very, very different city. Personally, I moved to Copenhagen in 1981. That's a long time ago. It's before many of you were born, a long time before you were born. And I know that, but I was also only 9 years old. But at that time, when I came to, I still remember it though, I was only 9 years old. At that time, the city I came to was an industrial city. It was a city where we only spoke Danish. It was also not a very attractive city, not only for Danish people. People moved out of Copenhagen because it was very dusty, dirty, old houses, and not so much energy in the town at that time. It was a crisis time because it was oil crisis, the 70s, 80s, industrial crisis, not so easy. But then things changed in the late 80s and in the 90s. And things changed in the way that people got globalized, society got globalized. Denmark became a member of the European integrated market, European common market, as you also have it nowadays, unfortunately. That started 1st of January 1993. And at that time, Danish businesses got the opportunity to grow on an equal basis with their competitors in big countries such as France, such as Germany, and later on also such as the US and also as China with the WTO. And China became member of the WTO in 2002. That was at the path for even bigger movement of these companies. I'd like to show you some figures, so maybe I can justify a little bit what I say. So maybe we can move to the next slide. This is just to tell you there is one company that is the biggest skyscraper, not only in Denmark, but the largest skyscraper in Europe now, in terms of market cap. And that is in the pharmaceutical industry, a very, very important company to follow these days. And I hope some of you have the opportunity to buy a share in the farm in the it would be a good idea. Do it now, get on that train. It's just like a rocket that just goes up and up and up. And now it's number one in Europe. The market cap, this single company, now exceeds 3,000 billion Danish kroner. That is substantially more than the Danish national annual GDP. So you have one company with a market cap that is, Danish GDP is around 2,400, this is 3,000. So it's at least around 20-25% higher than the GDP at the moment. Of course, it goes up and down. This week was amazing. Well, no, I don't know if any of you followed it, but they just, everybody said, now it can't continue. And then they came with another news, and another news, and another news. They are a fantastic development. That, of course, means something for the country. If you have one company that is so large, that's a whole discussion itself. I'm not going to detail further today. You saw it in Finland and Nokia in the 90s. You have to be a little careful. Because what if this company, it's like you have a big elephant in the room, right? And if they start to go like this, everybody shakes, right? You have a very big elephant that Novo Nordisk in Denmark. So we also have to be some cautious about it. But on the other hand, I'm not that worried about it. And the reason is on the following slide. Let's take the next one. This is just a share. And this is the foundation. Maybe I want to say a few things before I go further. And that is just to say that due to the growth of Novo Nordisk Foundation, that's the ownership of Novo now is the largest private charitable foundation, the most wealthy, on top of the Gates Foundation, even much larger than the Gates. So something about the magnitude of that. Let's take the next slide. Say something. So one of the things that has happened in this development is the R&D, research and development investment from the private sector. This is very important for you as university students, because you don't want to be in a country with a low private R&D investment level. Why not? Because then there's no job for university students. Could be jobs for other students, but you want to be in a country with high R&D. So the companies have the surplus to make research and development. That is now, let's take a look at this graph. This is only shown in 2016, and Denmark is this one, the purple one. And this is where we started. This is when I moved to Copenhagen, 1981. You see, it's not such an interesting, you don't want to be there, right? US is up here, UK is up here, and no, US is maybe this one, this is France, US is up here, and then Germany. Germany much better than Denmark. But here, in purple, then here, 1990s, Denmark became member of the part of Maastricht Treaty, part of the common market, 1993. Then it grow up, and then it comes up here. And if you continue this graph after now, you will see Denmark going even further up, because very much because of the pharmaceutical industry, because of Novo Nordisk. So here you see a development that has become more interesting. I said before that I'm not so worried because of this Novo Nordisk and Nokia effect. I'd like to show it by the next graph. This is, and just take the next one also. Just click one more time. Yeah, please. What we see here is the 10 largest companies in Denmark. And this is a very important table for me to show you today for my argument that you are at the right place at the right time, being the right human beings. And that is, if you had been in Denmark in 1993, this has been the largest corporations in the country. Of course, I know that they're all SMEs still. But SMEs are difficult when they come from abroad because they only speak Danish language, and they're not so interested in capacities or competences from Indonesia. But the big companies are very interested because they are present in Asia, many of them even present also in Indonesia. So they need to get knowledge about it. And let's take a look at these. The interesting thing here is if you aggregate the revenue of these 10 largest companies and compare it to the national GDP, then you would have a percentage around 20% in 1993. This figure, if you follow that up to 2015, would be doubled up to 45%. I even followed up to today, now it's about 60%. So here is, I've been following Danish capitalism right back to the 1850s in my research. We have never seen anything like this. It's a structural earthquake in this country they've never seen before. Denmark is no longer the country with the SMEs. Denmark is now the country with the big giants. Denmark now has larger companies relatively to Sweden and to Germany. This is very strange for us as Danish people, because it was Sweden that had Volvo. It was Sweden that had ASEA, the big companies. It was, of course, Germany with Siemens and all the big companies that we all know, Mercedes, BMW, we all know the big business in Germany. Today, it's no longer so much the case. Denmark is now a country that is relatively with a small size, hosting extremely large corporations. And this is the figure. This is where you see it. Huge difference. Another interesting thing here is founding year. I'm skilled as an economic historian, so I always like to use the past, not because I'm particularly interested in the past, because we all know the past is very boring. If I tell you about 18, this and that, and you go, oh, okay, very boring. But it is a way to understand the life, the world we live in now. So we ask questions about what do we see in the society? Why is Denmark now marked by this business structure with the skyscrapers? Then maybe you can use history to answer the question. So that's my approach to this. These are very old companies that was founded with globalization. There were companies. That's good. There were companies that has been around for a long time, and that of course intrigued a question: why would these companies so old be able to grasp these opportunities for growth? Why would they do that? I think it's a matter, and this is where it's important for you if you come to these companies. One, who are these companies? What are the competences they have? Some of these are very deeply rooted because they have a long history. So keep that in mind. All companies that are now globalized being able to grasp these opportunities for growth. Let's just take a look also at the size of the companies in terms of employees. You see very large companies, and these companies that were one of the participants interested in the maritime sector. Maritime sector is a prominent example of this development. Of course, Maersk is the largest company in Denmark in terms of revenue, not market cap. But in terms of revenue, it's the second largest shipping company in the world. And if you go to Novo, I just talked about Novo being market leader in pharmaceuticals within the business of insulin. ISS, one of the biggest employers in the world, with more than 500,000 employees. And in Indonesia, I happened to learn when I was in Jakarta last year, more than 50,000 employees in Indonesia. One of the big private employers in Indonesia, it's a Danish company. Arla Foods, one of the biggest companies in Europe within milk and dairy business. And Energy Carlsberg, we all know, Vestas is the biggest window producer. I'm bragging a little bit. I know that. I'll stop now. But I'm saying this because just to show you that these companies have been able to define global and European niches, and then develop within these niches. So we have a characteristic of these Danish businesses today that is very similar to what we've seen in Germany for many years. Namely, that they are companies, we call them in Germany the Mittelstand. These are companies that are marked by being very international. So it's only a small, tiny part of their revenues that are generated at home. They are globalized. That's why it's a great opportunity for you to follow these companies and to get in touch with the companies within the sectors that you're interested in. Second mark, I'm ready for. Second mark is that they often have a closed ownership. Denmark is foundation ownership, in Germany it's family ownership. Some of these are also family ownership. And the third very important is that they have a niche, high quality niche that they are very eager all the time to develop. So many of these companies have a specific area where they really go in depth with that specific part. For instance, Grundfos and Danfoss. Grundfos is a pump producer. What is a pump? Why pump important? Well, if you're the biggest in the world, then it is the biggest pump producer in the world. They have more than 4,000 employees in their factory in Jutland and facilities all around the world today within that specific niche. Perfect example. And now it's
There's between not fully through materializing. Yeah, so you mentioned this really important thing where you have all of these international companies that have their operations in Indonesia, so they want to get knowledge from Indonesia. That's why we are an attractive worker for them, correct? But they are also present in all of the other countries. So it doesn't make the competition any easier to navigate. So at the end of the day, it's still a very steep competitive job market. So what can we do as an Indonesian, something that could really help us push this, or like help us stand out, I guess.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. My point is, it's better than it used to be. That's my first place. Had it been 20 years ago, there's not even been the call. Now they speak English in the headquarters. Now they have an interest. They're globalized. So it's a good place to be in that. But you're absolutely right. It's big competition out there. There's a lot of talent, of course, and these companies are, some of them are present in Indonesia, but then it's for the, that's about the apartments in Indonesia, not Denmark. Good point, that. I would say that answer to your question is that you need to be very progressive. Make sure that you show a lot of initiative. My son is now looking for an internship, and I helped him a little bit. But the message from the employer was, it's not your father, it's you. You have to approach them. You have to show, you have to do something that makes you stand out. And I think that is the key into sort of the Danish culture, is to show an initiative, you show an interest. When you write an application, tell more about the company than what you tell about yourself. Tell more about the company than what you tell about yourself. Make sure to do your research. Who is Grundfos? Grundfos is an old company. Read about their history if you apply for them. Read about their history. Read about their values. Say, I understand this value. I've seen this value, seen this value. What I do now is that I bring where I come from. Build that value. That's what you want to do. You want to show that you do an interest. It's not a standard application that you send out to everybody. You make sure that you go in depth with that specific. This is something that the Danes, they like to be, or we should say, like to be sure that we tend to be modest, but it's actually not true. They really love if you tickle them a little bit by showing an interest who they are. Maybe because they come from a small country, so they're not really used to it. But you say, I'm very intrigued by this Denmark, and I'm intrigued by this company that you come from. I know that you were founded in 1871. I know that there was this and that. I think it's very interesting. I understand your values. What I come with, I can see there's a bridge. I think there's a match between us. I think we could do something, and I can enrich you with this and that. So that's my best advice, is that you have to be on top of the things. Maybe start with something that is not a job. Maybe start with a project, just to get some contacts, get to know some people, reach out on LinkedIn, reach out on emails, say, I'd like to do, I had this assignment in my university studies. I'd like to work with your company because I've been to your webcast. I've seen this is a very interesting place for this and that reason. Then maybe they will, no, I'm not saying that always, maybe sometimes. Then you have a little interest because that's what you look for. Then you know a name. Then you reach out to that person and say, well, next time there's an open position. And that's how you want to proceed. Not just an open position. It's very difficult in Denmark. A lot of the positions that they're opening, they already have candidates for. So it's a matter of being proactive. Reach out, do your research. Cheat a little bit by doing, saying, oh, I think this company is so fantastic, or all that. Maybe not all too much, but at least, they say something and then say, there's a great match here. I stand for some of the same values. That would be my answer. Question. But it's a good question, and I know that Bjarne, one of our common friends, is CEO of Siemens. He will also set up something where he will try from a corporate perspective to come some reflections to this important question. I think I will round off because we have a long agenda ahead of us. Am I right? Okay, but we should have somebody how much time? Yeah, that's very good. So I'd like to keep the floor open for questions, and I'd like to hear. There were some students here interested in the maritime sector and shipping. So who were interested in shipping? Sorry, cold call, but interested in maritime. I was about to say. So what sector would you be? Would you be the? I heard also energy. Yeah. So you talked about energy. So what would be your reasons for the energy here and why you?
Yes, it's interesting. And I think it's better to go energy sector.
Yeah, that is training to us. That's right. Take the next slide. It's not there. Yeah, thanks. Yeah, okay, next one. Yeah, that's Aslam.
Okay. Develop small country can get rid of develop like several big companies also like this. Yeah.
CIP Copenhagen Infrastructure Partners. It's also a good example.
Okay. But I don't have any other questions.
No, I think it's a good answer because you're pointing at the right thing. You're saying I'm interested in that sector, being in this country because we see these big private enterprises that are actually setting not only agenda in Denmark but an agenda globally. So again, this is something to reach out and then say, here are what I do with this project would be relevant in relation to you as a company. So I think that is a very important way forward. Absolutely. I've also, yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So, as a recruiting manager, nice. I think it's also very good. Would be a good recommendation to if you apply for a job that there's a recruiting manager's number in the job, right? Then sometimes people decide if the managers are called. But I think before that, we need to make sure that we have very good questions. Kind of because when you call managers, they're very, very busy. So sometimes when they get a call from a candidate, they something that is meaningful for them as well. So I think very good questions and ensure that you have a very good energy and then could be obvious. You also mentioned like curiosity about it. So good questions, good energy, and
Very good.
Just wanted to double click on my question. I think the advice that you guys have been giving is applicable to everyone. Like it's not specific to Indonesia or me as an Indonesian participant. And I guess this is just my laziness to do a research. And it's actually not that applicable to me because I'm already a full-time worker, but it's also for everyone else, is there an advantage for Indonesian students that we can utilize when we apply to these companies?
your competitive advantage as an innovation.
Yes, exactly. What's our unique selling point?
Yeah. I love to answer that. And I know so many Indonesians where I can point at several things that I would regard as important features and competences with them individually. But we have to be very careful with our generalizations on basic stuff. But I would say that though, that there are one contextual thing that I'd like to mention. That is, again, the timing is good. Because if you go you at universities, and if you go for specific traits and areas where there is a need in the society, then your chances are very good. And that's general. So look out for that and make sure to see if you can navigate yourself, and then you have the choice sometimes into the areas where there really is a need where there is strong demand on the labor side. That is one thing. And the other thing I would say is with the Indonesian, if you think about where you come from, what is it that is needed in Denmark? Well, that is people who have a flexibility and understanding also of navigating other cultures. And I think maybe that's one of the things as an Indonesian that you can understand. You can be in a company. I mean, you come also from another religion. This is one of the biggest, if not the biggest Muslim country in the world in terms of population. Maybe that can also be an asset in some companies. Maybe a company like Arla that is also very active in the Muslim world could say, well, it's not so bad to have somebody that actually understands that and can navigate that. And then also to say, instead of saying it's a disadvantage that I'm not Danish, maybe say it's an advantage because this company culture is now different than it has been a small and medium-sized enterprise only in Denmark. So, but again, of course, you need to be careful and articulate it in the right way. And maybe it's better to show it than to say it. And then to say, well, I come with my competences from university, and the moment I'm inside of the door, I'll show you that I'm actually able to navigate this multicultural world we live in, the highly complicated global world that has so many strange tendencies. Not all of them are very nice, actually, what's going on in the world now. It's very difficult for the companies. I know it from the shipping sector. They're struggling to understand what is going on in the world. Are we globalizing? Are we regionalizing? Are we direction of trade? Are people home sourcing? What is going on? We don't know. A crisis is another pandemic. There's all these questions. And we need people who are from other countries in order to give us insight to understand what is going on. I think that is, again, built upon your specific knowledge from a specific trade that you have from university. So do not oversell that point, because then they will say you look for other things. But if you come with that strong competence, that's something we really need pharmaceutical industry. I think from the Nordics, they've also said there's a lot of specifics that we actually need. We cannot have enough in Denmark. We Nordics are expanding, they're building up new factories, building up new departments. All of these companies are also expanding. They need people who have these skills. That's number one. You want to see if you can match that. Number two, they're international, they're global. You come with something to show that, I come from a country that is actually, have a strong history of being able to navigate in another part of the world. I can come with a contribution. I think that's the best thing to do. So I again, please keep a good energy, because you are at the right place at the right time. This has not been a good place 20 years ago. No, not a good place. Now it's a good time. It's a good time to be here. Denmark is one of the countries where the big multinationals are actually doing rather good. Some better than others, of course. Novus is the one that is doing the very best. But there's also some of the shipping companies that are doing fantastic these days. Not Maersk. Maersk is doing good, but they are also struggling. Some of the other shipping companies are really, really expanding these days. And other companies in other sectors, also in the western part of the country. For instance, in Jutland, you see some of these industrial. They take a company like Lego, become the biggest truck producers in the world. There's a lot of opportunities out there for many different trades. So I wish all of you all the best. And if you come to CBS, please reach out. I'm also for coffee, and I'm working there at my office there. And I'm also pleased to see that Indonesian students at CBS are organizing themselves. Thank you so much for your attention. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Martin, for the very insightful presentation. It's very interesting for us to know that Denmark provides us with a very great balance of welfare, personal welfare, and professional growth. And thank you very much for the tips and tricks that you shared with us in the middle. General advice for everybody: be proactive, do your research. If you are in some industry or a company, show them that you really have the interest, and show them that you did your research. Be curious and always be proactive. And I also love you guys' energy. Thank you so much for the enthusiasm. Thank you so much for keeping us the discussion alive. I hope this energy will be this high until the very end of the session. And then for everyone who are joining us live, not live, online in Zoom, no worry, we never forget that you guys exist. Hi everyone in Zoom. If you guys, I think it's a very unfortunate event that you guys cannot participate in the live discussion, but no worry, people in Zoom, you can still submit your question here in Slido, and we will give your question to the speakers in the end of the session, and then they will answer your questions for you. All right. I heard some discussion about how any specific advantage that we have as Indonesian. And I think our next speaker is like the very perfect person to answer this, because just like Ibu Dewi said, this person is an expert of working overseas. He is Indonesian, member of Indonesian Professional Association, and have a 32 years experience in the gas and oil industry. And guess what? 16 years of his experience is overseas, spread it in 5 countries, including Denmark, Norway, and Angola. So he definitely knows the tips and tricks to gain professional growth outside Indonesia. Without further ado, I will present to you Bapak Aslam Salimudin.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon. Thank you very much really for this opportunity to Dewi in this already Malaysia. They also Martin with all the PPA member and also IPA also that's support me for take this really honor for me to speak in this one also for join Zoom online. So hopefully, I bring this one to share because I hope this one can keep give you the broad knowledge what is if you like to, because you are already study here in Denmark, some of you interested to work in Denmark, and some of you maybe just interested to work outside in Indonesia as an educated worker. So I will start this one before I maybe to talk about some in detail. I just want to start with I'm doing research some research about Indonesian professional Indonesian already working in Denmark. So just give to you the what is how they are doing the job, what the sector they are doing right now, what the career they have, and I'm asked to them with the questionnaire asking to them what is important for them, what makes them important they are being succeed in their job right now in Denmark. So this one also I will add with my experience working all over the world, because it's about some of them is about the same. Some of them about there is some specific in each country you need to know. You need to know, yes, because I remember something that's specific in Denmark. And first time I'm working abroad is in Norway. And then right now in Denmark, little bit some similarity, but it's not exactly same, but some similarity is Scandinavian country. But in general, yeah, you need to really know the culture when you are starting to working in a new country. You need to do research to know in detail how the culture of each country. I remember when I joined the job in Norway, even the company at the time, the name is Statoil, they gave me a 1 week training to know in detail about the culture of Norway. This is very important. You need to know before when you apply everything, you need to know before you are coming to here. So I will start with my research. Slide two, next. So this is the data of the percentage, yeah, of the people that Indonesian working in Denmark. Of them, it is master. Some of them is bachelor, and some of them it is doctoral. So this is I just need to you to know to working abroad is Indonesian. Normally, there is first you can buy study in the country you would like to work. You are already study here, so the opportunity for you to get the job here is bigger than people study outside Denmark. Yes, because you have opportunity here, and yes, it's very important when you are studying. It's very good. It's very important one. You have to finish your study with good understanding, with good remark, with you really have know the skill, really have, because wherever you are working is educated worker, you have to have strong skill. It is the basic. So before I talk another thing, you have really have strong skill to do the competition. Because when you apply, when I apply to Europe, so what they are doing, first they try to find people that in this country. And they cannot find, they try to find people in European Union, and then after that outside. This is a very, very tough competition. You can't do it. We have to confident. In the second way, to have the job outside, you can study in Indonesia. I'm studying in Indonesia, the master in Indonesia. But after that, I'm working in good company. And the time I'm working at good company in Indonesia, mobile oil is not exist anymore right now. But he's one of the best oil energy for development people. At that time, they have engineering professional development and do long-term development in Houston, whatever. This develop people very good. So this one also because in the beginning of your job, when you are finished, also your study. very important to you to really concentrate on the knowledge, on the skill. Concentrate to develop this one as good as like you do doing the job everything. Yeah, you need to develop yourself. This is the message for this one. So this is, you can see this one also in working outside Indonesia. You can see the best opportunity if you have master. Do not stop only bachelor. If you go until PhD doctoral, in some country like Denmark, you have opportunity to work in industry everywhere. But maybe difficult in other country because more in the research, more in the education, maybe not like in Indonesia. Maybe it's not easy to have you get school and a doctor and then you working in the industry, something like that. Maybe yeah, it's still opportunity, but master is maybe is the best. This is the reality of the based on the data also. So this one, I know for a long time it is very important to get under master to get the job all over the world. Next, about the you see about the industry in Indonesian people work, most of them working in energy. Because in the data here also some people working together with me and Total project, also for IRA project, and also many working in the industry of the wind farm, something like that. And then second, because a lot of Indonesian working in the shipping also. Shipping because they are working in the transportation and logistics, including shipping, I mean, transport mass or the something company. And also I talk about because the public service, telecommunication, IT, health. This is the distribution of the Indonesian working right now in Denmark. And next, you see the most of the working. So I just this is engineer, and the biggest one is in the as an engineer, and this is managerial. Some of them already in good in higher position like managerial position, supervisor, manager, maybe also general manager, and another working in the sales, teacher, public relation, designer, procurement, HR, human resource, only one. The human research only one. This is the and then also an advisor and scientist. So this is, you can see the also the cut here is good because when you are also engineer, engineer here also the good position, but the quality of the engineering, whatever. Some if you are working until doctoral also a lot of position for you to become working in the engineering. And mostly you can see also most of the student that study is not on the finance. I don't see any finance or on the social, mostly in the engineering and the technical side that people working here. So you can see the opportunity. And also I don't see people working in the industry like for agro business, whatever. I don't see most of them working, and most of the students study in the engineering in the engineering side. Okay, so this is the so as for you to get the what is the opportunity right now and working in Denmark. Yeah. So you need to know this some of your important thing that you have really have a good skill. You really have a good because your competition is really tough. If they will not hire people from abroad, then the quality even about the same people. If they have people who they can hire people from here, why they hire you? You have to set up the high standard really. Yeah, yeah. But no worry, as Indonesian also one thing. Right now, most of big companies very concerned about diversity. It's because like you are cooking, they are built like this. When you are cooking, if you have more ingredient, with different ingredient, so the taste will be better. Yes, they did. Some company growing better, growing become bigger. Like some company like Total, the one of company, one of French company change to become European company. When we are start to become growing, want to become bigger, they need people coming all over the world. And we have as long as we have a good skill, and we need to learn next about our research about to become professional, to have opportunity what you can you need to bring when you want to find a job. It is really important, not because you have also have like soft skill. I mean about your ability to let me say you're able to communicate well. You have to not easily give up if there is a failure, and it's, you need to have persuade people that you are able to do it. I remember it's a little bit strange for me when I because when I'm apply because I think there is international employment when I move to apply to move to Denmark. I'm already working for many years. They give me like interview with very detailed interview. And another company, same company, I move normally. Okay, based on your CV. Okay, no need to talk too much, but they are asked so many questions because this is the culture we need to know. Here everything is in very detailed, very detailed because if they don't know, they want to know and very precise. What the ability of the people, how you talk, how is your confidence. So you need to know in detail when you or what you can sell to other. And maybe next. So this is the integrity and emotional intelligence it is really important when you are talking about working success in any country. I remember when I'm applying the job first time, the test is not first time. It's not to be about technical matter. I invited by the HR. I remember I go to Paris almost the whole day until night. They test me everything. After that, after I want my question. What is the most important thing you looking for me? Because you are being assigned to going all over the world. We need to check if you able to adapt with the new environment easily. It is really important that we are able to adapt with any culture, any situation easily. Some people succeed in the job because he is in the right time, in the right time, in the right thing, in the right situation only. When the situation is changed, he not able to survive. You can see some of the football players in one club, the Phoenix succeed. When you move to another, suddenly it's good happen. This is very important when so when it's, we really need to know the culture, the way of people working there. People in Denmark is really big different with Indonesian work example about the system here is very good, very detailed, and we have to follow and understanding. That example, maybe it's an example outside the zone, about the traffic regulation. We are used. I'm in Indonesia. How many times we just drive? I just drive. I don't need to think. I don't need to know about the regulation, the rule. I don't need to anything. Just enjoy. I don't care about the speed limit, whatever. I can park everywhere. It's really, yeah, but I mean, there is something, but strict rule is strict. Really, when I joined the driving, the theoretical, not only the skill how to drive, we need to know every detail in the regulation. When we have to drive, we have to drive something like that. Really, not the detail. And this one, we need to know also in the job. You cannot do in the job without know very detail of the rule, what the consequence, what the future, because the system here already set up very detailed on the opportunity, very detailed. Everything you need to know, and you need to set up the even you need there is space for of course for to become you have initiative, you have to creative whatever, but following the rule. We can change the rule with new idea, but this is not we can just do it like this without understanding something. What is the consequence for the future? Something stability is very important here. This for this one can this is some point that's answered by our friend Indonesian working here. We need to continue improve skill and willing to share with others, and we need to know the ethic here, comply with all the principle and document set by institute, and the integrity. Really, this is the country for trust. When you say something, you do it. You have to be honest. You have to be committed. You cannot just say everything without the real data. You can do it bluffing. I mean, some people doing just bluffing. That's clear. You need to understand this one. Okay. Oh, 5 minutes. Yeah. Okay. I have to stop or coming? Confident again. Okay. Good. Thank you. Okay. Thank you. Okay. And then this one, yeah. Also, we really need to know the value of this institution. Also, we need to get next. Yes, this will continue to objectively the best solution in making decision, even under pressure. Yeah, about the concern really about the quality to doing good quality of our job. It is really important, and this one. I think this one also important is typical of the Scandinavian culture. When I'm working in Norway and when I come in here, it's really you need to become calm, not easily boom or something like that. Then get here, working and then this one everything has to be peaceful, calm manner, not causing them on, and to achieve your main objective. It is simple. You need to understand. You need to follow. Yeah, the people here, as said by Martin also, it's not easy for you to become a good friend of the people of Denmark. It's not easy. They will not easily invite you for dinner. Suddenly, no. Because they are normally have a good friend for very long time since they are. But it's possible. I have some good friend. Yeah, as long as you show your interest, the good, the positive of Indonesia. We are kind. We are people that's kind. We are people easily smile, and we praise other people. So as I said, it is really important. And then also, one able to express ideas clearly to improve performance and support success. Yeah, this is important. We have to in the job really everywhere you are doing the job. This is some point, and also you are to be tough in the face of obstacles and any failure. people will not try to find who make a mistake. This one is okay. Yeah, like when you are looking outside and this year or so, you can make mistake, but you will getting a better and better. Then you need to be confident. And I think the last before I finish. So yes, it is when you are. It is really true. When you are learn other culture in order to understand. So we know how to do, what not to do, and to love. And I love this country. I love going to any country. Very good relation with Angola. I'm not. If I have time, I will go there and back to see my all of my time. So this is very important. When we know about diversity, every people are different thing. But if we really understand and we need to love, so our life will be easily everywhere we live, and you can be happy everywhere. You live everywhere in the world. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Aslam, for the enlightening session. It's very, the slide Aslam presented is very compact but very comprehensive. He shared to us a lot of values that we should have, a lot of mindset that we should have, and it's very helpful all the participants to know and to take notes. Okay, right now, I will just inform you guys here in the Zoom that we are closing the Slido because we are coming to the very last long-awaited session, Q&A session. So I would like to invite Professor Martin and Aslam back to the stage. Yes, thank you so much. That's great. All right, so we actually have a lot of questions in Slido waiting for us, but our team is some questions that I think are most interested. First one, how do social science opportunity in Danish industry compared to the engineering sector? I see some cultural barriers happen in the front. And this is very interesting because actually in PPI Denmark itself, around 50 to 40% of students actually study social science. So yeah.
You say 30 to 40%.
30 to 40%.
So maybe that is a question to me because I represent the social science university. And it's a very good question indeed. I think it's important that we distinguish between different types of social science studies. Of course, we have on the one hand, and let's say that's the most extreme, is humanities. Humanities is a very important field for all of us in our personal life, but also in society. But it's also sometimes embedded in a specific culture. And it can also sometimes be difficult. And even for Danish students, it can be difficult and struggling to get a good job within humanities if you're not a teacher. You have to be very creative. It's not easy. Then we can move to social science. Social sciences can include, for instance, economics, but it can also include, let's say, statistics or other fields, organization studies, and others. In some of these areas, including economics, there can be a strong need for expertise that is maybe comparable also to natural sciences. So again, I would be very cautious in giving a general advice, but I would give that advice that each student needs to look specifically into their career path, make sure that they take a route where they also care a little bit about the demand out there. It's always a delicate balance because you should not only look at demand, you also need to look at yourself and to see where is my energy, where is my keen interest. Because at the end of the day, you're the one who has to work with it, you're the one who write the report in the middle of the night. So you have to have energy, as it won't work. But of course, see if you can find the delicate balance between the two.
All right, thank you so much. Do you have anything else to add?
I think I'm enough for this session.
Okay, thank you so much, Bill. Part of companies in Denmark are actually family-owned companies. Do you guys think this will build a certain preference in the recruitment?
Yes. family business differs because family business are often colored by the family values. So some family, particularly small businesses, and now I can maybe have some prejudice here, but small business can be, for instance, craftsmen, and they can have a very strong family value of, let's say, doing things. But you can also have some big family businesses that have a very strong values in relation, for instance, for cooperation, for high quality, for due diligence, for trust. So again, I would be very cautious to generalize on this question, but I think it's all a matter of research. It's a matter of the individual student making sure to understand what is the family values of the company that I'm coaching. I have some knowledge about, for instance, Lego and Grundfos and Danfoss and Maersk. Maersk also has a family behind me. And I would, if I were you and looking into these companies, I would look into some of the web pages and maybe some of the books and articles about these families and about what they represent. And I think it's a very, very strong argument if you are in a conversation with the company that you have done some research. You know something about these family values. You can say, well, this reflects, this resonates me. I'm actually interested in working here because I think I can contribute to and maybe help you to develop these values. And I think that's again a matter of your due diligence and your research before you. It's very important with these questions and trying to understand these family values.
I see. Thank you so much. Do you have anything else to add?
Yes, and really, so what I heard is maybe, yeah, I know a lot of family company in Denmark, different big one, smaller, also huge number. It's, so it's in general, when you really apply some job, you need to do really understand to doing research, so your curriculum vitae or whatever you plan, you prepare well, you understand what they need and what you can bring to them. So this is the key for everything. Spanish to become specific. Do not make everything just too general. You need to understand and very specific. So we have to.
All right, thank you so much. I hope the one who asked questions is Lido has satisfied with our teacher's answer. For the last question, instead of taking the question from Slido, I actually want to throw an opportunity to the audience here to ask questions live to our speakers. If anyone wants to ask questions, can raise your hand. It's okay if you already asked a Slido, you can still have the opportunity to ask them in person right now, live. Yes, please. Can you please tell us your name first? I'm Carolyn. I used to go to CBS, Masters of Business Administration and Agency. With CBS and changing the names and all the long names. It's stupid. But so I wanted to address this to both because you mentioned that diversity and inclusion values are really important and that's the trend. But I'm afraid to be another statistic. So what are your opinions on companies that simply hire internationals to improve their employer branding through diversity and inclusion? That's a long one.
So that's a good question. There's a lot of greenwashing out there. There's a lot of saying this and that, and do they really mean it? I don't know. I think, and this maybe I think too well about the companies, but I think if you're in a hiring process, I think it's a very serious matter for most companies to hire someone. I've been talking with a lot of companies about internships, and I know the companies are very, very cautious of inviting people inside their business. It's a trust matter. So I think the moment that they invite international to be employees in the company, they really mean it. I wouldn't be too skeptical about that. I think they really mean it. What you need to challenge them about is then how do you mean it? Why is it that you hired me involved? And what is it that I know that I come with something, but is what is the
More than
is competence that I bring to the table. And sometimes the companies, maybe because they're busy, maybe because they are in, well-known practices, they don't really have, thoughts about it. So I will then say, well, I'm actually not really happy now because I don't really feel that you're taking the things that I bring to the table seriously here in the organization. What can we do about it? And the most companies that I know, those are the good companies, they will actually take that very seriously because then they will actually also say, well, that's good that you come and ask them. But of course, you have to ask it in a constructive way and always make sure to give people a little credit. Oh, not only be critical, but also to say, I know it's difficult, I know try this and that, but still there's room for improvement. So to take that constructive approach and confront them with the question. But again, the moment they have hired international, I think it's a pretty serious matter for a company. It should be. And then, confront them if not.
Yes, for big company with the really operate an international company with everywhere in the world, it is really become one important point that they are going through. They need people very different view, different point. This really make they become stronger with this such kind of developer. But I don't know in small company if they are really this will not be easy for this one. But yeah, as long as you show that you bring some good skill and you will able to add some additional point to them, it's also is possible. But really in the international and big company, this one is really become important point, and it's happened actually. I joined some project that's really on purpose about almost 50 citizen all over the world. Yeah. They are doing on purpose to make it to people coming from many countries. Something like that.
All right, thank you so much for the answers. Caroline, do you have any follow-up question before we move on? All right, thank you so much. I will open the floor again for the audience to ask question live. Anyone wants to ask another question? One last time. Okay. Question your name is
My name is Valentin, and I have one question there. Maybe it's been answered, but it's about the cultural mobility. Because when we move up from another country or to another country, we have a different experience. We have different culture. We have different. I read it as an epistemological order. So because our history is different, and it's we can think like maybe like the resident of the country that we visit or we work with, and how do we cope about culture mobility, like how we cope the difference between ourselves and our work within ourselves. And it's the question that Caroline said, it kind of makes me question again, because what if it's just assumption, but what if the diversity of the needs of diversity is just needs of the market? It's not for our well-being. If you use that what I meant, maybe yeah, that's my question. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
How can we for how do we solve?
Yes. Really good question. Yes, thank you. So, yes, this is one important point when you are start to work and abroad and not in your country and you are moving and you are not just like tourists coming and to see. You are living there. It's totally different. When we are living there, we have to interact with them, we have to survive with them. So for me, the most important thing first, you have to think positively. This is when I and put all the we make a research, but do not put the big good or then the big expectation. You have to also prepare for the worst condition and to think positively what you can get. I'm not only moving to the this is the safe, nice, it's very easy. Compare we are move to the difficult countries like in Angola, something like I'm living in Africa, something like with the criminality, whatever. But when you are thinking positively, so you will get the good thing. Everywhere there's always a bad thing and good thing, and because when you think positively, you will feel okay, and you will because you will first when you do talking about the job, you concentrate, focus to perform well. And you have to, when you have to perform, you have to have the good positive about this is a good country. This is with this the big side and the positive side. So we take this one. This one is very important. We have to think positively. We understand and we take what the opportunity. Maybe we can what also we see our side. Okay, yes, as Indonesia, we can help this point. We can develop this point because some people maybe so we know because and you cannot generalize also. Okay, maybe you can say this country like this, like this like this, but every people also have the specific character. It's not all people the same. You can have the general point, but in the reality, it is I say what emotional intelligence, intelligence when we interaction with other people, we really need to know, oh, these people's like this, they people like this. We put always become the put respect, understand others. This is the key for everywhere you go and put the positive side. This is for
Very good. I would maybe add that I think for everybody, it's difficult to be in a different context, difficult context. And what often will happen is that you will tend to see to be with those who are like yourself. And that is a natural thing to do. So and that gives you a comfort. And I think that the balance is then to challenge yourself on that comfort and also move out of the comfort zone and into the society. And one of the ways that I have I've also lived in the US for some time. So lived in 1 year in Belgium as a student. One of the things that really helped me, I don't know if it can help you, but that would be to set up some goals or some aim that are specific or explicit to myself. Then to say what is it that I'd like to accomplish and how can I get to the next. So if you want to write down to yourself, maybe on the short term, medium term, and a long term, what is it that I'd like to accomplish here? And then you can say there are something about yourself that you can do. There's something in relation to the organization you are in, or the setting you are in, your friends, your company, or maybe your university. And then there is a high level, and that is the society. And maybe you can put a little bit of words about each. How can each of these three contribute to what you would like to reach in the future? Because then maybe you can work a little strategically. It's not easy. Then you can work a little strategically and try to get there and get these things to play.
I think you also mentioned another question regarding the diversity, right?
Oh yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And again, and that's a really good question. And I think if you are in a situation where you feel that this company is only and there's no reason why I'm here, it's just some statistics or something. I think that's what you aim at. I think that's a really strange thing, and I think I would confront that. I would say, what is going on here? I mean, maybe not confront it in a very sort of aggressive way, but rather say, is there something we can do about this? I mean, I bring something to the table. What do you want? But again, the companies I've been working a lot with shipping companies in relation to internships, and I know the shipping companies, this is the sector I know the best. They're very, very careful about their recruitment process, and they think very carefully about what is it that you bring into the table here, and it's trust related issue because you get access to a lot of important things when you're inside the walls, so to speak, and so I'm not that afraid that it's only statistics. But again, you can have a situation where you say, well, you're not actually taking advantage of what I bring to the table. And that's the natural thing. But then maybe you can have a mentor that you can talk to and say, what can we do?
Do you have any follow-up question? Okay, thank you so much. We actually have a lot of questions. It's like we have more than 10 audiences, we have more than 10. I'm also sure that you guys here have a lot of burning questions inside, but unfortunately, we actually have a quite limited time. So I would like to here, another our speakers. After this, we actually have a lunch and networking session where you can approach them in person and seek clarification or ask anything that's on your mind. For people that are joining us in Zoom, again, we never forget about you guys. You cannot join us for the lunch session, obviously, but later our speakers will maybe share to the team about the contact that maybe we can contact them via email or via LinkedIn, and we will send you guys their contact so that if you guys still have a follow-up question, you can contact them directly. All right, we are actually in the end of today's session. This session is very enlightening and very insightful. There's a lot of valuable takeaways. We already listened about that is opportunity, that is factors, and we already know how to tackle those challenges. How can we adapt better? Pak Aslam told us that we can control our mind to think more positively, to bring ourselves to see everything in the bright side. And Mr. Martin also said that we can challenge ourselves and go outside our I think there are a lot of valuable tips and tricks that we can take. And I hope you guys go home, sleep today with a lot of fulfilled mind because you guys already get the answer or you can already get what you want from this seminar.